What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of K-Cards Baseball. Thanks for joining me tonight on this lovely evening. Hopefully you all are doing wonderful tonight, had a good weekend, and are looking forward to the week ahead. Tonight on the channel, we are going to be discussing the top 4 pitchers in 2025 Bowman Baseball that are going to have their Bowman First cards in that product. We did a video last week highlighting the top position players in 2025 Bowman Baseball. If you haven't had a chance to check out that video, I would definitely highly encourage it. We did go in depth on each one of the top 5 position players that are in 2025 Bowman Baseball, and it is actually a pretty promising class. However, when it comes to the pitchers in this class, doing a little bit of research on each one of these pitchers, there's a lot of promise when it comes to the pitchers. However, there's only one of the top 4 pitchers that's actually ranked in the top 100 prospects on the MLB top 100 prospect list, and he will be the top pitcher that we're going to talk about during this video. In doing some research into each one of these players, they all have a tremendous amount of promise as far as their outlook and forecast, and the teams that these players belong to are really counting on these pitchers to come through pretty big time as we go into the next couple of years. We're not going to waste any time tonight. We are going to go ahead and just get into these top 4 pitchers in 2025 Bowman Baseball. The first player on our list is Brody Hopkins, a right-handed pitcher now pitching with the Montgomery Biscuits in Double-A. Even though he is in the Tampa Bay Rays organization right now, he was originally drafted in the 2023 draft by the Seattle Mariners, 187th overall in the 6th round. He was traded, however, from the Seattle Mariners to the Tampa Bay Rays in the Randy Arozarena trade that happened last July at the trade deadline. The scouting report on Brody Hopkins is that he is an extremely athletic pitcher. Coming out of college, he really didn't do much pitching in college. He was primarily an outfielder in college. When he was at the College of Charleston, he didn't pitch very much. He transferred to Winthrop, however, where he played in the outfield and started on the mound. His numbers weren't great, but the Mariners took a shot at him in the 6th round of the 2023 draft under the bonus slot for $225,000. Eyeing him primarily as a pitcher. He did get off to a great start at Single-A Modesto last year before getting traded to the Tampa Bay Rays. He is a pretty big pitcher, as we've seen with many of the pitchers lately. He is 6'4" and weighs 200 pounds at the age of 23. The Tampa Bay Rays are projecting him to be a front of the rotation starter going into 2026. He does have excellent stuff, with a pair of mid-90s fastballs, with a 4-seamer that has the ability to touch the upper 90s. On top of those fastballs, he also has a bat-missing slider in the mid-80s with a ton of break. So he does have quite a wide array of pitches in his arsenal, and this should give him an excellent chance to be a front-of-the-rotation starter at the major league level. Despite striking out 133 batters in 115 innings last year, the biggest knock against Brody Hopkins is that he does need to show a little bit more control with his array of pitches. He did walk 53 batters last year in 115 innings. However, he did strike out 133 in those 15 innings. Before he gets to the major league level, however, he does really need to work on that control and have better command of the strike zone. Let's go ahead and take a little video clip look at Brody Hopkins.
This game was obviously Thursday, so you have to imagine the bullpen is pretty well rested. 2-2, waved on and missed, went 88 low and in. 2-2, got him looking on the outside corner. Got him looking at the knees. 98 on the radar gun that time from Hopkins. 3-2, stuck it on the outside corner at 97. 2-2, Lombard takes off, checks swing, he's called at the plates. 0-2 is cut on the miss for strike 3. Swing and a miss for strike 3. Brody Hopkins.
The next up on the list is George Klassen, a right-handed pitcher in the Los Angeles Angels organization, and he is the number 3 ranked prospect within the Angels organization. He is a right-handed pitcher and pitches for the team that probably has my most favorite team name in all of minor league baseball, the Rocket City Trash Pandas at the AA level. He is 23 years old, 6'2", and 195 pounds. Klassen was picked right after Brody Hopkins in the 2023 draft, also in the 6th round at the 193rd spot from Philadelphia. He was traded from the Philadelphia Phillies to the Los Angeles Angels right before the trade deadline in 2024 for Carlos Estevez. And looking at Klassen's biography, he did pitch for the University of Minnesota in 2022, right after Tommy John surgery in 2021. However, he was extremely ineffective with the University of Minnesota. Once the college season was done, he did go on to pitch in the Northwoods League, a league that I'm pretty familiar with. That is a league that is based in the upper Midwest, in the Minnesota and Wisconsin area primarily. He did, however, show improvement in the Northwoods League that summer, shortly after the college baseball season ended, and did show that his premium arm strength returned back at school in 2023, which led the Phillies to take him in the 6th round of the 2023 draft. Once he did get in the Phillies organization, he did start off at Single-A Clearwater, and he did excel at the Single-A level. It did show that his array of pitches returned. After the Phillies drafted him, they were cautious with him during his first full season, sending him to Single-A Clearwater, but he turned out to be a revelation both in stuff and his ability to command it, and earn a promotion to High A Jersey Shore. His fastball in 2024 did average around 97 miles per hour and occasionally touched triple digits, as well as having tremendous control of the strike zone. His four-seamer had more ride-up in the zone than it did in college, and he also used a two-seamer with sink. He also has 2 excellent off-speed pitches with an 86-mile-per-hour curveball and a slider that can touch 90 miles per hour. At his last year at the University of Minnesota, he did walk an extremely high 7.5 batters per 9 innings. However, once he got drafted and into Class A and AA ball, that dramatically improved. His current projection is to be a pitcher in the Los Angeles Angels organization going into 2026. We'll just have to see how that all works out. Hopefully he can continue to improve on his arm strength as well as command of the strike zone. Let's take a video clip look at George Klassen.
Fastball swung and missed. Good comeback by Klassen. It's a pitch, cut on and missed, and that will retire the side. 0-2 on the way. Swing and a miss. 3 Ks already for Klassen. As the pitch, swing and a miss. Klassen, another cut on and miss. Fastball high and tight. 2-2. Called strike 3. Klassen gets glad he's swinging. Strikeout number 7. 1-2-3. Go to the Barons in the 4th inning.
Before the players they've had recently. There's a fastball, swing and a miss. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. Strikeout number 9 would be a new season high. The 1-2 pitch, he got it. So 9 strikeouts for Klassen.
The number 2 pitcher on our list is Thomas White. He is in the Miami Marlins organization and is currently ranked as the top prospect in the minor league levels for the Miami Marlins. He is only 20 years old and was drafted out of high school in the 2023 draft, 35th overall, which at the time was actually considered to be a steal in that draft. He did commit to play for Vanderbilt. However, the Miami Marlins were able to lure him away from playing college baseball, signing him for $4.1 million, which is the equivalent of a mid-first round money and a record for a New England draftee. He is a super big dude at 6'5" and 240 pounds. He is currently pitching at the A+ level for the Beloit Sky Carp. If you've ever been to Beloit, you would have a pretty good idea about why the team name is the Sky Carp. I'll just leave it at that. Beloit is a wonderful city. After being drafted, he did show that he was more polished than expected in his first full pro season, logging a 2.81 ERA with a 120 to 38 strikeout to base on ball ratio in 96 innings between 2 Class A stops and earning top prospect accolades in the High A Midwest League. His stuff made a jump in 2024 with his fastball velocity increasing from 92 to 95 miles per hour up to 94 to 97 miles per hour. He has always exhibited good feel for his spin and switched from a 78 to 82 mile per hour curveball with depth to an 81 to 85 mile per hour slider with significant horizontal action. White is still only 20, however, and his projection currently is to be with the Miami Marlins going into the 2026 season. We'll just have to see how that all works out. He would still only be a 21-year-old kid in 2026, so we'll just have to see how everything pans out for Thomas White. However, I would say that he is definitely a pitcher to watch and has superstar ability and has potential to be a standout starter at the major league level going into 2026 and beyond. Let's take a video clip look at Thomas White.
The Cubs facing Miami Marlins top prospect Thomas White, and the 1-2 is going to be called strike 3. Back-to-back Ks for White here in the second. 4 of the last 5 have been Ks for Thomas White. The 2-2. That's going to be called strike 3. Another strikeout for Thomas White. 5 scoreless innings, only 1 base runner conceded on his part. It's 2-0 Sky Carp through 5.
The top player on our list is the number 42 prospect overall in the top 100 list, Quinn Mathews, a left-handed pitcher with the St. Louis Cardinals. He is currently at the AAA level and is projected to be a call-up in 2025. He is 24 years old and extremely tall at 6'5". However, he only weighs 188 pounds. Talk about a really thin 6'5". Mathews was drafted in the 4th round of the 2023 draft, number 122 overall, by the St. Louis Cardinals. That was actually the second time he'd been drafted. He was also drafted in the 19th round by the Tampa Bay Rays in 2022. However, after being drafted by the Rays, he decided to head back to Stanford for his senior year, where he reached legendary status with his 156 pitch performance against Texas in the Super Regionals in 2023. He is probably best known for a bigger number, however, and that is the number 202. That was his strikeout total across all 4 full season levels in his first pro season, thus becoming only the second pitcher at the minor league level with at least 200 Ks in a single year since 2011. That is an amazing stat for sure. He finished with a 2.76 ERA, a .98 WHIP, and a 179 batting average against, thus cementing his status as the Major League Baseball Pipeline's pitching prospect of the year in 2024. The biggest difference in Mathews from his college days to the pro side is his added velocity, and his speed remained pretty consistent throughout the year last year. The four-seamer plays well in a relatively flat attack angle from a lowish release, allowing Mathews to get whiffs at the top of the zone. He also has a plus changeup as well as a slider, and his curveball comes in at the mid-70s with excessive break. Some scouts in the game believe he rivals fellow NL Central Arm and 2023 pick Rhett Lauder, who we have featured a few times on this channel, for the honor of possessing the most pitchability among prospects entering 2025, and he'll likely put that to the test against MLB bats before long. Let's take a video clip look at Quinn Mathews.
Chat about these kids all the time and who are excited about. You can't get enough. You think he is outstanding. Why?
I really do. One, he's a tall, lean left-hander, Greg. He's got a solid 4-pitch mix. His velocity in college was 91, 92. Now in pro ball, it's jumped to 94 to 97. He has a plus changeup that's an out pitch that he uses to left-handed, right-hand hitters. It's a very durable, easy, rhythmic guy. He's a strike thrower. He doesn't give up home runs. He is highly competitive on the mound. I think he's a solid middle-of-rotation starter at the big league level, and this is one young man that I do not think is...
Lastly, I did a stat comparison of each one of these 4 pitchers to kind of see which one graded out best, and it stayed pretty much as we have them ranked, with Brody Hopkins being the 4th pitcher in this grade, looking at his ERA at 3.20 with an average of 203 and a whip of 1.4, which is a little bit on the high side. So he did grade out 4th amongst these 4 pitchers. George Klassen was ranked 3rd. He did have the worst ERA of all 4 pitchers at 3.40. Thomas White tied for the best whip overall at 1.08 with Quinn Mathews. However, his batting average against was worst amongst these 4 pitchers at 233, and his walk to strikeout ratio was actually 2nd worst overall among these 4 pitchers, behind Brody Hopkins. Quinn Mathews, our top prospect, did grade out highest with the most wins overall, the most inning pitch at 153, the most games pitched, the best ERA at 2.99, so we had the most innings pitched and the best ERA, as well as having the lowest batting average against at 187. And his strikeout to base on ball ratio was the best among these 4 pitchers, along with a 1.08 whip. So I think Quinn Mathews is definitely going to be a super stud pitcher in this draft class. So anyways, guys, that's a quick look at these top pitchers in 2025 Bowman Baseball that are going to have their Bowman First cards in the upcoming set. Remember that you can go back and look at how I ranked the top position players in 2025 Bowman Baseball, as well as check out my new release preview for Bowman Baseball that I released a couple of weeks ago. Let me know down in the comment section what you think of these pitchers, who you think is best. If you think I'm off my rocker a little bit, I'd be very curious to see what your feedback is on this topic. That is all I got for you guys tonight. If you're new to the channel and haven't had a chance to hit that like and subscribe, please go ahead and take care of that for me. I would greatly appreciate it. It's your best way to show your support for what we got going on here on the K Cards channel. Thanks, guys. Thanks for all your support. I always appreciate it. Be safe out there, guys, and happy collecting. We'll talk to you guys in the next coming days. Thanks, guys.